For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Coming up on the broadcast, the unexpected exchange between the communications officer in the office of the Prime Minister and a former health minister. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the most monitored talk show in the world. And that's Power 97.9. That's where it's at, and it's called NewsSpin. And the broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. My name is Timothy Poleon. Happy Friday to you. We go up until 2 o'clock this afternoon. And between now and that time, you'll be able to contribute to the broadcast by calling 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. Oh, what an exchange it was yesterday when the communications officer in the office of the Prime Minister, Riani Isidore, called in, and that is to clarify certain issues pertaining to the operations of Turning Point. And this institution has been in the news over the last year or so, particularly on this program. And this would have been spurred by former Health Minister Sarah Flood-Bobra, when she called to lament the shuttering of the doors and the operations of that institution. Now, there wasn't much feedback at the time, only that we heard from the then CEO of the Millennium Heights Medical Complex, Dr. Dexter James, who denied that the operations of the Turning Point had ceased. He denied that, and subsequent to that, we had more allegations of claims that indeed the operations were put on hold or suspended. This prompted a call from the former health minister, Sarah Flood-Bobra, who categorically stated that what Mr. Isidore was saying was indeed a lie when he claimed that the operations of the institution had been in train for a while. Well, what has happened is even today, protest action being taken at the Constitution Park, and we have a photograph to share with you. I think it's an employee of that institution of Turning Point, and she has a placard which reads, among other things, I may be out of a job as of tomorrow, but I need to send a message to Ministry of Health, by extension MHMC board. We at Turning Point tired of y'all BS. And continues, Turning Point used to be the number one and only place with a rehabilitation center in the Caribbean. Right now, we are not even on the map. It continues, staff have been deployed just because they did not sign a contract. The backbone of the program is now working in places and they have no use for the expertise just because of a contract. As I stand here, the place has not one client in for rehab. The phones most times are not even working. And when someone do get in touch, you really don't even know what to answer about admission. You all stop admitting clients from Dominica, St. Vincent, and the wider Caribbean with no explanation. Blatant disrespect for people's life. No counselors, no 12-step facilitator. So what do you call that? Close. So you'll close a whole institution because the staff did not sign a contract. Yes, the place is closed. In case you missed it, by now the famous exchange between the communications officer in the office of the Prime Minister, that's Rihanna Isidore, and former Health Minister Sarah Flood-Bobra.
None of the services provided by Turning Point have been closed or suspended in any way. The only thing that's different now is the location temporarily at the chest wing of the Victoria Hospital.
And the persons who are seeking new services, new patients, can access that service as well?
No, all of the services, it's business as usual, albeit from a different location, right? Business as usual. So until the mold remediation process is done, then they will revert to their former home at the Millennium Heights Medical Complex and be back to business. But I'm just saying, these kinds of confusions, these kinds of, we can just place a phone call. If I'm a former government minister, I'm pretty sure. I mean, is it far-fetched to still have someone you can contact in the Ministry of Health, in the public service somewhere to say, hey, it's just to verify something you hear?
Mr. Producer, hold on, Mr. Riani, Isidore, I don't know if this can be facilitated, but Mrs. Sarah Flood-Bobra is calling the broadcast right now. I don't know if we can have her on the line. Is it possible that we could have her on the line? To have an exchange? Technically, is it possible? I'm just asking. It's
like, you mean right now?
Yes, because she's calling the program and she's the one who made the allegation. Let's see if we could put her on the air.
All right.
Are you on the line, Mrs. Bobra?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Can you hear Mrs. Bobra, Mr. Isidore? Riani?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you fine, so go ahead.
Okay. So, Mrs. Bobra, go ahead, please.
Yes, Timothy, I'm here. Hello.
Yes, go ahead, please. I'm listening to you.
Yes, I am here, Timothy. And good afternoon, Amanda, and good afternoon, Mr. Riani Isidore.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, yeah.
Right. Are you hearing me, Timothy?
I'm hearing you.
Okay, so Mr. Isidore, I just heard what you said. Okay. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
And what you just said, I'm sorry to tell you, Mr. Isidore, is a categorical lie. You have just lied on national radio. Okay? You have just lied on national radio. And what happened this morning is a cook-up. I'm being very frank about it. I'm not mincing my words. Because that cook-up story happened this morning after I called the program yesterday. There is no mold remediation happening at the chest wing where Turning Point is currently. Okay? and clients have been discharged who had just started their treatment, was sent home with Turning Point no admissions until further notice. That is exactly what the government was planning to do 1 year ago when Turning Point was supposed to have been closed. And because I brought a client in there that I was sponsoring, Turning Point was left open for another 7 to 8 weeks. This plan has been underfoot for a whole year. And I haven't heard you speaking until recently. I don't know, Mr. Isidore, whether you just came into this job. Maybe someone is lying to you, but I am telling you that the government has had plans to close Turning Point, and this is not the first time that they've sent clients home in the middle of their treatment because there's a plan afoot.
And that was the exchange yesterday between former Health Minister Mrs. Sarah Flood Bobra and Communications Officer in the Office of the Prime Minister, Mr. Riani Isidore. Moments ago, we got a voice note from the former Health Minister and providing us with, more information regarding Turning Point and its operations.
Hello, hi, Timothy. I'm just calling to give an update following the conversation that we had on NewsSpin yesterday regarding Turning Point. I have sent you 2 pictures, Timothy. A picture tells 1,000 words that would explain exactly what the situation is regarding Turning Point and clarify any misconceptions that there might be. I drove this morning to the facility at the Millennium Heights, where Turning Point was housed last year when I first called. And you will see clearly that now on the door of that facility is a child and adolescent unit. This is where Turning Point was last year when I had called and said they were going to close the facility. Now this facility has been earmarked for the child and adolescent unit. This is the facility that Riani Isidore is suggesting has been closed for mold treatment. This is another reason why it is closed or was closed. They had proposed to shut down Turning Point even from last year, and it was earmarked for a child and adolescent facility. So I'm sending you this picture with what's on the door as proof of what I am just saying. I also sent you a picture, Timothy, that someone sent me this morning, and it showed clearly that there was someone on Constitution Park this morning whom, well, she says she's a member of staff. That was written on one of her posters. And one of the posters that this person displayed this morning said that there are no clients at Turning Point as we speak, and the staff don't even know what to tell people who call about admissions. And my information is that before I called, sometime about 2 weeks ago, staff were told clearly that there'd be no admissions until further notice. So I don't want to belabor the point. It's been a whole year I've been monitoring this. The government intends to close Turning Point. When I brought up the issue last year, they made us know they were changing their minds and they're at it again. There's no doubt about it. And what Riani Isidore said yesterday was a prefabrication, and there was no truth to it about the mold being the reason why anywhere has been closed. There's no mold treatment going on as far as I saw. And as I said, this has been earmarked for another unit. Turning Point was supposed to have disappeared. It stayed open for another year because of the noise that has been made, and they are at it again. So that's what the issue is. And I'm not the only one saying it. Clearly, persons who have even more information than me are saying what is going on at Turning Point. So this is just an update, Timothy, following the conversation yesterday. Thank you very much.
You just heard there from former Health Minister Sarah Flood Borber. And my efforts to get further information from Ministry of Health officials regarding the situation involving Turning Point and its operations, my efforts have been futile. So here's hoping that during the course of our broadcast, we'll be hearing from those relevant people who certainly can clarify some of the issues that we have been discussing regarding Turning Point over the last year. That will include possibly the Minister with responsibility for health, the permanent secretary of the ministry, even the chief medical officer, because certainly they are in a better position to clarify the various issues and concerns that you members of the public have regarding the operations of Turning Point. Let's take your calls right now at 452-2979, 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We'll also be discussing the decision by the St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority to terminate the contract of the Taiwanese construction firm that is Overseas Engineering and Construction Company OECC, involved in the construction of the air traffic control tower under the HIA redevelopment project. And SLASPA cites multiple breaches of contract as a reason for the termination. And my information is that that tower is almost complete. Let's take a call. We have our first call in line. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Please go ahead with your contribution, caller. Hello?
Okay. So you had a former minister stating that a lie was told about the
Turning Point
wellness center.
Turning Point.
So is this a government of lies that we have in this country? Because Tim, I don't want to make the suggestion or make the accusation, but I want to ask the question. Is it true that OECC, the Taiwanese company, left St. Lucia since in September? And is it true that SLASPA is only making that thing today, that they dismissed the contractor based on irregularities just to save face, instead of telling the public that OECC indeed left because they themselves could not keep to the agreement that OECC had? Okay, Tim? They need to come out and clear the air on that, because there is information, and not just information, evidence to show that what they said there in that interview is not the fact. Okay? They may have stopped the contract, they may have dismissed OECC, but it was after the fact. It was after OECC might have left. Like I said, I'm asking questions. So I need somebody to come out and say the truth and give us the evidence that OECC was still on the airport and they only ceased when they, which is SLASPA, terminated the contract. Because what I'm getting, Tim, and from people who was involved again, this is not the case. This company left, and as far as I understand, they in one of the other Caribbean islands, working on either a hospital or airport something. But they are not in St. Lucia. They have not been in St. Lucia since September. So let me hear what they have to say on that.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for your contribution. Some more calls, 452-2979. Once again, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. A citizenry must be able to trust the government. And that should involve with information that is provided by government officials or people who are doing PR on behalf of the government. You cannot have a situation where people just do not have confidence. People cannot accept the information that is being provided to them, and they themselves continue to be in doubt, even when certain things are explained. It is all about credibility. A government must earn the trust of its citizens. Because can you imagine, in the time of a crisis, and a government official comes before you through an address to the nation and try and starts to disseminate critical, what you consider to be crucial and critical information on certain things, and you as a citizen, because of the government's track record with regard to the manner in which it disseminates information, you are doubtful. You don't know if you can give credence to that information that is being provided to you. And yet still we have governments around the world, including St. Lucia, talking about disinformation and misinformation. When it is coming from a government, or any government at all, whether it's the government of St. Lucia, government in the region, or internationally, that certainly spells doom for the people. And so we find ourselves in a polycrisis. Crisis when it comes to information that is being provided by our and your government. You have a problem when it comes to matters relating to how the government is handling crucial issues like the crime problem in the country, the high cost of groceries. And the government does not want to hear that. The government cannot understand that that is an issue that we have been discussing on NewsSpin over the last year and a half, maybe 2 years now. It has a difficulty with accepting that fact, that that is an issue that the people of St. Lucia are very much concerned about, because it is directly impacting them. And sometimes there's a chasm, there's a distance between your government and the people and what is impacting them, what is affecting them. When a government can boast about economic growth of 4.2 and 4.3%, etc., the big question the government must ask itself is whether that growth is reflected in the ability of the citizens to purchase grocery items at the supermarket. Do they have monies in their pocket? Is it reflected in their bank account? Those are the issues a government must be preoccupied with. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Hello, good afternoon. Could I speak to Tim?
You are on the air, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, I have a situation here with this government. They just came on me. My family have been on a piece of property there in Balata there for over 100 years. And these people just infringing on me and coming telling me that they will take me off my land, and they never show me proper documents. They never come with nothing. They here all now surveying all around the place and want to put me off of my family land where I was born. I'm 60 years old. I was born on that property. I live on the property, but the people just infringing on me to make me move from there. So they say they're building high-rise building. So I just wanted an opinion from you.
But do you have any documents to prove that you own the property?
No, we didn't buy the property. The property had been given to my grandmother from Independence. And she died before she did anything about it.
You say from 1979?
Yes.
Okay, but if it was given to your grandmother, she should have some form of documentation to prove that she owns the property. It's about ownership, you know. It's not saying, well, I've been living on the land for so long and it's my property, etc. You must show ownership. If you own something, you own a vehicle, you own a house, you must show
so you're telling me that
you own it.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you're telling me that government could just come and throw me off my land where I live?
No, I'm not saying
so
that.
Many years?
I'm not saying that, Cole. I'm just saying you must show that proof, evidence that you own the property. Haven't you gone to a lawyer to advise you on this?
Yeah, well, this is the next step. We're planning to get a lawyer, but I just wanted to hear.
But you should have done that already. Are you the gentleman who has been on YouTube or Facebook talking about this?
Oh, no.
Not you. That's a different issue. Okay.
No, this is in Balata.
In Balata. Oh, in Balata. Okay. Well, my advice to you, caller, is the natural thing to do. The obvious thing is to seek legal representation.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for calling the broadcast. All right, you too. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Amanda, good afternoon to you. Let's check in to see what's happening in the chat room.
Good afternoon, Timothy. Good afternoon, NewsSpinners. In the chat room, someone says, Momo pills are losing their effectiveness slowly but surely. Another comment, Rihanna, stop making these people use you to peddle their lies. You are the one that will bear the consequences of your lying sins. Another comment, someone says, Sarah just bombed you, Rihanna. Another contribution, this exchange will go down as one of the best at NewsSpin at this studio archives. Someone says, listen carefully in making the statement how confident he was bringing his lies across. After hearing Sarah, his response was subdued. Another comment, Tim, did you hear Rihanna said right now, in disbelief, Rihanna will not forgive you for putting him on the spot yesterday. He was left like when a heavy-duty roller which rolled over a packet of Crick's biscuits. Someone says, so where did he get this information? Another comment, after listening to all this back and forth about turning point, I'm thinking of checking in to a rehabilitation center. Someone says, every day is something new with this government. Can't we go 1 week without drama or finger pointing from this government? Another comment, Tim, everyone is boasting about Pip's economic gains and his brilliance with economics. But to me, he's costing St. Lucia more debt, and we are paying more for things which should have been done already by their foolish political actions. For example, St. Jude's, the roads, the housing project, and now the terminal. We are paying more for those things because of PJP and his government's choices and not by the actions of the opposition. Another comment, what is the government really doing? Why are these guys so embroiled in so much negativity?
Somebody sent me a WhatsApp message last year, and they resent it today. It reads, this has been my concern for the past years. There are a number of young people, particularly men, who have become addicted to, example, alcohol, drugs of all kinds from early as 14 and 15 years. However, after a time when they grow up to about 20 years thereabout, some have confessed/admitted that they are not where they wanted to be in life. They have made a conscious decision to be treated and transformed, becoming a desirable citizen. Can government put something in place to accommodate such young people who can't afford to receive treatment at Turning Point? The treatment costs at Turning Point, duration about 48 weeks, and the charge more than $2,000. One must deposit $700 before admittance. Most young people and parents can ill afford that expense. Can government allocate some funds, same as they budget for carnival, etc., to assist these young people? I know so many such, like some of these young people who are now pastors or ministers of the gospel, prime ministers, businessmen, etc. Many such like youth have become good citizens, making valuable contributions to their countries. Healthy, productive young people are a great asset to our country. Can government subsidize the cost of treatment for these young people? With every individual young person who is healthy and making a meaningful contribution to his or her country makes the country richer. Please help save our fallen youth who are seeking help to be transformed to serve. And this WhatsApp message was sent to me 1 year ago. The person resent it, I guess, in light of the debate and discussion surrounding Turning Point. Some more comments in the chat room, Amanda?
Just a few. Someone says RF says he has evidence on everything about Flubbo, so he doesn't know what is going on with his government and Flasper. All the lies they are feeding the public, but tanto, the truth will show up. Another comment, lawyer team, but lawyers are the biggest land grabbers. Someone says all the corruption done by this government is enabled by lawyers. And in the chat room, someone says, what time will these high-rise buildings begin? Where are the condos?
That's it? All right. Thank you so much, Amanda, for that update. Let's see if we have a WhatsApp message. It reads, just all patients at Victoria have been sent to Comfort Bay or home. The reason is no doctors want to go to the Victoria hospitals to see the patients. A WhatsApp message just coming to hand. Tim, why terminate a contract with OECC? when the work is like 90% done. That sounds fishy. Oh my God, with our St. Lucia. Now about turning point, time we finish. So let's get that report, which was filed last evening during the DBS News World broadcast by Zane Romulus. And it's all about SLASPA terminating its contract with Taiwanese construction firm Overseas Engineering and Construction Company, OECC. It is responsible for constructing the air traffic control tower under the HIA redevelopment project. SLASPA cites multiple breaches of contract as reason for the termination.
At a press conference on Thursday, the General Manager of the St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority, Darren Snack, updated the media on the Hiranora International Airport redevelopment project. The project, which spans 3 administrations, has not been without its challenges. After assuming office in 2021, the Philippe administration reviewed the project. Following this process, SLASPA secured approval to proceed with the air traffic control tower. Taiwanese firm Overseas Engineering and Construction Company, OECC, began construction in early 2023. However, during Thursday's press conference, the general manager announced that SLASPA has prematurely ended its agreement with the main contractor.
During the ongoing construction of our new, what we call our ACTC, Air Traffic Control Tower, the main contractor, OECC, breached multiple performance, health, and safety requirements. Despite efforts to address these issues, OECC failed to comply, and therefore this prompted SLASPA to terminate the contract with the contractor on November 30th, 2024.
So will this terminated contract cost the country? While there is no word yet from OECC, SLASPA's general manager, however, anticipates that this move will not be a liability.
If there is any cost, we have a contract agreement which is very clear as to how you proceed. So we have followed this very, very carefully in terms of the contract agreement. And if the contractor does not agree with our position, there are different avenues in that contract agreement where the parties can resolve the matters. So we have not received an official response from the contractor, but we don't anticipate that there will be any costs.
Snack indicated that SLASPA has since finalized designs and specifications for the air traffic control tower, and by year-end, those for the terminal building and other critical infrastructure are expected to be completed, enabling the authority to commence a new tender process. Updated bills of quantities have been prepared, and discussions are underway to secure sustainable financing options.
Our envisaged dates for the air traffic control tower are to go to tender between January of next year, January, February, and to allow a contractor to be on site at about March into April. With regards to the terminal building and other ancillary works, we are looking at a May completion tender process and to get a contractor on board to start the remainder of the Hiranora International Airport.
The new direction of the HIA redevelopment project is expected to cost millions of dollars more than originally estimated. The initial cost for the project was estimated at $145 million, which may now rise to as much as $175 million. So far, between $35 and $40 million has already been spent on this project. According to Stark, the decision to end the contract with OECC, while difficult, highlights SLASPA's commitment to accountability and to maintaining the highest standards for this project. For the DBS News World, I am Zane Romulus.
Thanks very much, Zane, for that report. It was filed last evening during the DBS News World. In response, somebody says, Tim, that's a lie. So why can't they terminate the lease with rubies? Nonsense. And there was a tour of the Hiranora International Airport project that is sometime in 2021. And a report was filed by Chanel Novell, who was then with the Government Information Service.
The St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority, SLASPA, expressed confidence that upon completion, the Hiranora International Airport HIA redevelopment project will meet the demands of the aviation industry and rival neighboring Caribbean islands as one of the best airports in the region. Officials of the Ministry of Infrastructure, Ports, Energy and Labour, along with Infrastructure Minister Honorable Stephenson King, recently made their first official visit to the site. The visit provided them an opportunity to witness firsthand the progress of works being conducted. SLASPA's Communications and Community Liaison Officer for the HIA Redevelopment Project, Peter Lewis, explained that the officials were also profited the opportunity to make inquiries and witness the quality of the product in the foundation stage.
We were able to walk the minister through for him to get an appreciation for the piling process, how far we've progressed in terms of how that affects the timeline and the timely completion of the project, the fact that we've taken the environmental concerns into consideration to enact this project and to ensure that it is completed the way that we as St. Lucians and the wider world would be proud of. Also, the minister got a chance to ask questions firsthand from the project site engineers and to witness the true progress of the facility. And I think the minister left very pleased and he was very happy. But also for officials of the Ministry of Infrastructure, they were able to get a grasp of the full extent of what partners like CBRE, HERE and ECMC, who are also partners on this project, are doing, and to get an appreciation for the sheer expanse and effort that it is going to take to realize this project.
The Communications and Community Liaison Officer indicated that the airport project will meet international standards whilst providing all required amenities for a safe and comfortable experience.
The airport project is on the way, and St. Lucia will soon be able to experience all the trappings and thrills of a new state-of-the-art facility. And everyone is committed and excited to push the project through, and so soon from now all of us will be able to experience greater parking accommodation and Wi-Fi and all the little things that we want: more space, more technology involved, cute systems and state-of-the-art technology throughout a facility which is modern and to allow us to rank amongst the best in the region.
Minister for Infrastructure, Ports, Energy and Labour, Honorable Stephenson King, highlighting the quality of the works being executed, expressed elation at the progress thus far. He explained that significant progress is being made, and with the noted improvement in efficiency, the project may outperform the expected completion time.
We also realized that in the 5 packages, the first package which is being done, it's on time. And once it's on time, then it means the next set of packages, from the pile driving to the shell package, to the interior, to the air side and land side. We are hoping that St. Lucians won't be disappointed, not only in the architecture and the environment that is being put together, but in terms of the delivery, so that St. Lucian now can boast of having an international airport that is second to none in the entire Caribbean.
The minister, commending all involved parties, stated that he is proud of and impressed with the work being conducted, as well as the competency of SLASPA. Honorable King also stated that the project is beneficial on many fronts, providing employment opportunities for residents of the South.
Already, the numbers that are being touted here, the OECC Meridian has about 150 to 160 workers that they've employed. We're anticipating that we'll see an increase in numbers as they continue to do their part of the job. OECC has about 30 to 40 in number. So we're really speaking about 200 workers at this time. But of course, it's really the spill-off in terms of what is happening on the periphery of the construction site in terms of catering and food, other services. Beyond that, accommodation and the list continues. We will see certainly an improvement in the numbers when the other phases of the project commences, and hopefully the anticipated or projected numbers that are being spoken of is anything near to 550, 600 persons being engaged during the construction phase. Beyond that, the other things will happen.
The official site visit was conducted on the 10th of June 2021. From the Government Information Service, I am Janelle Norville.
This report was filed in 2021. It's all about the Uranora International Airport Redevelopment Project. A WhatsApp message, somebody says, Tim, do you know what were the health and safety concerns that caused the alleged breach and subsequent termination of the contract? Something is fishy. Tricks alone. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. The broadcast continues in just a bit with more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages, and we'll be reporting on the discussions in the chat room.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucilex Customer Service Office in Castries is now opened for business, but we've moved. We're now located on Daisy Avenue in Sanssouci on the ground floor of the new Carilac building. We're open weekdays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Check out our online options first. But if you do need to come in to see us, we'll be pleased to serve you with new connections, bill queries, payments, and other service requests. Lucilex Sanssouci office, ground floor of the Carilac building. New location, same great service.
Ho, ho, ho! KFC is bringing the magic with 12 days of Christmas. Starting November 18th, anytime you buy a festive feast at KFC, you can enter to win amazing prizes. Just write your name and number on your receipt and drop it in the entry box. From December 9th to 20th, we're giving away a NutriBullet, Apple Watch, iPhone 15, and more. And on December 20th, the grand prize, an all-expense-paid trip to Jamaica with tickets to see Vibes Cartel at the Freedom Street concert. Don't miss the holiday kickoff on November 22nd at Rodney Bay KFC from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. KFC, finger-licking good.
Okay, Max, if I'm going to steal Christmas this year, I'll need a smart TV to keep an eye on the who's, a smartphone to call for backup, cash, and a stove to bake this ham. Seriously, I can get all this for free if I signed up for Flow.
We're Christmasing with thousands of gifts even the Grinch would love. Sign up for a postpaid mobile bundle or high-speed broadband and win big every week. Visit discoverflow.co now.
It is well known by all St. Lucian professional tradesmen and even homeowners that European-made tools are the best. Well, guess what? Europa Hardware is having a massive promotion on the Metabo brand of power tools. From impact drills to angle grinders, jigsaws to rotary hammers, sanders and hot air guns. All at unbeatable, jaw-dropping prices. Don't let your tools let you down. Come to Europa and stay standing with a proud in-the-hand tool from Metabo. Call us at 452-0763 or visit us in Massat Grosile. Europa, we service what we sell.
La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence is revolutionizing healthcare right here in St. Lucia. No longer do you have to travel abroad for high-quality head-to-toe MRI images. Our center features the latest 1.5 Tesla MRI technology from General Electric. Operated by GE Healthcare certified technologists, our radiation-free scans provide unparalleled clarity. Our board-certified specialist radiologists ensure more accurate diagnoses. Don't take our word for it. We continue to serve many satisfied patients. And the best part? Your MRI report arrives within 24 hours, and we can send images directly to your doctor anywhere in the world. Say goodbye to long wait times and unnecessary travel expenses. Trust the Caribbean's leading medical imaging service located in Cocoville, Rodney Bay. Call La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence today and take the first step towards a healthier tomorrow.
Get ready for MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt's wonderful weekends on December 6th, 7th, and 8th. And again on December 12th, 14th, and 15th. We're bringing you 20% off store-wide. Plus amazing doorbuster deals. Need tools, paint, or housewares for the holidays? We've got it all at amazing prices. But that's not all. Save up to 50% off on our doorbuster deals. These prices won't last long. So get in early for the best savings. Don't miss out. Mark your calendar for wonderful weekends at MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt in December and save 20% off store-wide this holiday season. Terms and conditions may apply. See in-store for more details.
At Caribbean Pastouche Limited, we offer high-quality products from Martinique, and our ready mix is made with casting sand, not regular pumice. Compared to regular pumice, casting sand saves you in your cement use. At Caribbean Pastouche Limited, our materials come from porcelain stones, which is used as an additive in creating cement. Caribbean Pastouche Limited is located in Bexon, behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastouche Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world, and that is NewsSpin. WhatsApp message. Somebody says, Tim, the tower at HIA is not almost complete. It is far from completion. It stands like a monument to this government, the government's continuing failure to complete all projects started by the last administration, even to the detriment of the people of St. Lucia. OACC was sticking around for 3 years or more, waiting around for this inept administration to make up their mind about the airport, while St. Vincent is getting 3 American flights a day to a new airport. Maybe our Prime Minister is on the autism spectrum because he can't complete anything. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there, SLASPA has lost all its credibility. First with the GPH acquisition of our ports and now with our international airport in the south. Is there any transparency as to what performance, health, and safety compliances were breached? Will the public even know? Is this what we call progress? It's worth reading that WhatsApp message again. SLASPA, the St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority, has lost all its credibility. First with the GPH acquisition of our ports and now with our international airport in the south. Is there any transparency as to what performance, health, and safety compliances were breached? Will the public even know? Is this what we call progress? Let's see if we have any of your messages to go through. Amanda, what's happening in the chat room?
Tim, we have quite a few comments. Someone says, Tim, it would be nice to have a lawyer call to give some information on the issue of land ownership. There are quite a few persons with problems concerning land ownership. Another comment, GPH has full control of SLASPA now. There are more shocking changes to come. Someone says, Tim, we will get wet for a good while when going out and coming into the country. That airport is leaking. Someone says, with OECC, there would be no corruption. Just look and see who will be getting this contract to continue the work on the airport.
We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Timothy.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
Timothy,
is this Mrs. Nancy Charles?
Yes, it is.
Yes, go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
I'm calling because it's very sad for me being a Salvaner. It's not surprising the news with reference to SLASPA, but I'm saying it's also very sad because a caller called earlier on indicating that from September, OECC have left the country. And I want to remind St. Lucia that the first order of business when this government came into office with reference to the airport development project was to stop the project and put it on hold. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, yes.
So I certainly agree with the caller or some of the message that you read indicating that SLASPA has lost all credibility. And this is not just a simple matter, Timothy, in terms of what's happening with that airport. The statements made by SLASPA, I want us to realize that this can also create another diplomatic row. We had a diplomatic issue with Taiwan with reference to OECC sometime last year, if you remember, when Kenny Anthony stood in the House of Parliament and falsely accused payments of going to some Panama account. You remember that, Timothy?
Yes, I can recall.
And had St. Lucians accusing Alan Chasney of paying some Panama account, to the point that the government of Taiwan had to issue a statement indicating and clarifying that there was no such Panama account and that there were no irregularities with the payment to OECC, etc. And this was a transaction with Exim Bank and OECC, and the payments were being made directly, etc. So I want to remind St. Lucia that in the name of politics, the St. Lucia Labour Party continue to force certain statutory institutions to make certain statements because of their policy position, and these things continue to put St. Lucia in a precarious position with our diplomatic allies. Now, Timothy, from September, young men especially had been calling me, stopping me on the streets and telling me, Miss Nancy, what's going on? I used to work on the airport project. They send us home. We don't know what's going on. Nobody telling us anything, etc., etc., etc. Timothy, these are the same young men from Viewfort North that Musa will be approaching to vote for him in the next election. From Viewfort South that Kenny Anthony will be approaching. As far as Mikud North and Mikud South, Labrie, these politicians will be needing those same young men who have been sent home, Timothy, who cannot work anymore just for pure political reasons. And I'm very happy you played the clip of Stevenson King. And there are other clips that will come out that they never had an issue, quote unquote, with the quality of the project. But all of a sudden, they have some concerns that OECC could not resolve. And I can certainly tell you from my information, dialoguing with both parties. I have sources from both parties. Just like Sarah Flood Bobra said yesterday to Rihanna Isidore, I can say to St. Lucia that that is a categorical lie. That is not true. That is fishing, looking for pins and needles and looking for little things so that they could have terminated the contract because the government, the current government of St. Lucia, did not want to continue the relationship with OECC. So I do have a few questions, Timothy, if you'll permit me, that I want Mr. Snack, Mr. Stevenson King, Prime Minister Philip Pierre to answer. Because we took a loan from the Taiwanese Exim Bank, if you remember, Timothy. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. I'm not too sure if it's on my phone. But we took a loan of about $110 million for that project. And that loan was taken with the Taiwanese Exim Bank. And as I said earlier, Taiwan owns a percentage of the bank. The Taiwanese government owns a percentage of the bank. So technically, we were taking a loan from also the Taiwanese government, whom we say we love and we praise and we value the relationship with Taiwan. But here's what we're doing to our diplomatic ally for no reason, purely political reason. Because that airport project, Timothy, started way back, you remember? I think about 2009, 2010, when the then UWP administration was in power, we started the project. Alan Chasney, as Minister of Tourism, instituted an airport development tax. You remember that? When Kenny Anthony won the elections in 2011, they stopped the airport development tax. They had St. Lucians crying foul, saying we have not started the project, but we're paying a tax for the project, etc. And there were millions of dollars collected under that tax. And up to a day like today, nobody in St. Lucia knows where that money went and how that money was spent. They went back and they did a new development for the project, and they were into putting a PPP. I don't know if you remember that. And when you look at the Labour Party, who continues to accuse the previous administration of wanting and loving foreigners, every single project in this country has gone to foreigners in this country. PPP, we have given away our ports to foreigners in this country. And the plan of the Labour Party was to give the international airport in a PPP for 30 years again. And they love those numbers, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. That's the numbers, to give away our assets to people. That was the plan. Fortunately for us, they lost the election. And when we came in, we renegotiated the project. We did the development and we got a loan from the Taiwanese so we could resume the project. Now we're learning that project has been on hold. Nobody knows when the project is going to resume. So I want to ask the government to please tell us, from that loan we took from the Taiwanese government, how much money has been drawn down from that loan, Timothy? Don't you think that is important for St. Lucians to know that? How much money has SLASPA drawn down on that loan? Have we taken the whole 110 million US dollars from the Taiwanese Exim Bank? Have we drawn down on that entire amount, or do we still have some outstanding monies with the bank? How much money have we spent so far? How much money did the OECC, is the OECC being owed for the tower? Because persons in Viewford would pass and you would say that that tower is almost complete. I don't understand why a tower is almost completed and it's only now you realize that you're having certain irregularities and you want to terminate the contract. So we need to know how much money has been expended, how much money has been drawn down, how much money is still remaining in the bank, if there are any. If they have drawn down on all the money, what have they done with it? Where is that money? Because that is a loan that we are paying. And I think this is very important. But I also want to end by saying, Timothy, this is shameful, very shameful of the government of St. Lucia. I am embarrassed as a St. Lucian. And I feel sorry for Mr. Snack, but in another way, I don't feel sorry for him, because public servants and professionals ought to start standing up to politicians, every single one of them, whether it be UWP or Labour, and do what is right by your country. And so that is why I feel sorry for him, but I don't feel sorry for him because I believe SLASPA as an institution should be able to stand up to the government and say, we will do what is right with this project. People are complaining. The airport is leaking. You come out in the rain. Little St. Vincent has an international airport. Dominica have started the project and ours is on hold. And we are a bigger country and we have more tourists. So today is a very sad day for us, Timothy, and a very shameful day for us in St. Lucia. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much for calling, ma'am. You just heard there from Mrs. Nancy Charles of the opposition UWP. Let's continue with your calls and your WhatsApp messages, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. And let's continue with Amanda and what's happening in the chat room.
A comment reads, by now we should understand why the Kakabeth misinformation story was just sent out there by Kenson Casimir, Philippe Pierre, and the SLP base. They were hiding the news of OECC. This kind of politics from SLP needs to be stopped. It's just dividing the people, whilst those ministers are enriching themselves with the resources of the country, whilst poverty continues to eat up the core of the country. Another comment, oh yes, the project will cost more, just like all the other projects starting by the previous government. In some cases, the cost is almost doubled. Someone says corruption in this government has no end. Another comment, sounds like a clever way of not going through with the original HIA project started by Shas. By the way, will this new contractor give us the original agreed size airport or a smaller one? Someone says, Tim, there is a problem with the new dollar bills, especially the $100 notes. Some business places are refusing to accept them because the serial number is fading. I believe something needs to be done about this because we have absolutely no control over that. Another comment, my condolences to St. Lucia. Someone says, what more evidence do you St. Lucians need to see what this government is killing our country? Another comment, Tim is 3 years now and no airports as yet, so fooling the people again and again. Another contribution, King needs to be studied because our. A comment from Peter Chico, he says, team send a reporter to do an interview with Mr. King as the current Minister of Infrastructure on HIA. I know HTS Choice, MBC and GIS are still listening and reading these comments. I am putting a challenge to all the media houses to conduct that interview with Mr. King to get his take on the HIA developments. Lisa, you too are invited to ask him for this interview. I know you are reading the comments too. Another comment, St. Lucians, when are we going to stop the madness? It doesn't have to take a general elections to stop this corrupt government. We going down. Someone says, I had a great dream that the year of infrastructure is 2024. Another contribution, a NewsSpin says, the issue about the airport terminal is it will cost more to construct. Where is the extra funds coming from and in whose pocket will it be going?
We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello? Yes, good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon, Tim. Guy Joseph here.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Joseph.
Yes, Tim. Just a couple of points I wanted to raise. Hearing the report from SLASPA about the termination of the OECC contract on breaches of what? Was it the quality of the construction? Health and safety issues, then all contracts in St. Lucia should be terminated already, because when I look at the works being done on our road network and the signage that we are getting, which is a health and safety issue. Tim, you drive on the Millennium Highway, how much signage you see at night?
Yeah, not much.
For the potholes or the sections that are not. How many lights you see flashing to indicate? How many proper signs you see from the cul-de-sac junction heading to ancillary canneries where they have milled the entire surface of the road from ancillary almost to canneries. So when you hear this, and I want to bring St. Lucians back to how the Labour Party operates. Why was the Talvan and the shock housing project stopped? Didn't they say there was no planning approval for these things? Tim, you recall the discussions about that? You recall the discussions about there not being approval for the Poleon road, and that a review was being done, and I think according to the contract, they had about 90 days to review and to come forward. Have we ever received a report from the Minister of Infrastructure and his ministry on these projects? So what we are seeing in St. Lucia, team, is a Labour Party that is bent on destroying things in this country. And going back to the issue of the Kakabef, you remember, Tim, I told you when I called you, I will be sending you some documents.
Yes.
I have received the designs that went for the Dennery project, that went to the planning department. I am still awaiting one of the letters where Crown had given permission for the land to be used. But Tim, I will also send you, if you have not received that, a copy of a contract. And the initial contract with Rubis was signed in 2013. Are you hearing me, Tim? 2013. Who was in government in 2013? The St. Lucia Labour Party. That contract was renewed again in 2015, and then it was revised in 2017, because when we came into government, we did not feel that each of the companies needed to have a fuel farm for the airport. So there were negotiations going on, and the people at Sol and Rubis knows that. The negotiations was going on between Sol and Rubis so that there would be a kind of sharing agreement with him. As soon as we lost the elections in 2021, negotiations stopped. And I will not say which company stopped the negotiations because I do not have the information to back it up to say, because these companies trading in St. Lucia. But I can tell you that the negotiations stopped between the two companies. One of the companies walked away from the negotiations, and then that was it. We heard nothing until recently what we are seeing happening on the Kakabef. And the Labour Party, my sad part about this for me, Tim, is when politicians, ministers in government who carry the title of honorable would come and lie to an entire country about simple issues that a piece of document can verify who entered into an agreement. So all you are hearing is Alan Shasney. Now, I don't want to spend my time on this about the Kakabef, Tim, there was a price adjustment of fuel recently. Did the price of fuel change at the pumps in St. Lucia?
Well, we all know that it didn't.
Okay. So as I speak to you, Tim, are you aware that the government is making in excess of $5 EC on every gallon of fuel that is sold in St. Lucia? And I challenge the government to prove what I am saying is not so. Now, I can tell you, when the government is supposed to be making $2.50 on a gallon of fuel, and $1.50 was for the road construction project that we had done. This project was for 5 years and is fully paid for. As we speak, it should be fully paid for by now. If it is not, then it's just a few months. Will the government remove the $1.50? So by right, if the fuel was $4, if the government was collecting its full $2.50 and was collecting the $1.50 for the road construction project, it should be $4. The government is making in excess of $5 on a gallon of fuel. Yet still they have cut back on the subsidy of cooking gas. So the 20-pound cylinder and the 22-pound cylinder, which is what the average St. Lucian uses, and the 100-pound cylinder, a lot of our pensioners and older folks use the 100-pound cylinder. You know why, Tim? Because the trucks deliver it. You don't have to go and buy a tank of gas or get somebody when you run out of gas to run to a depot and buy you gas. The government is not even considering that some of the most vulnerable people in our society, the elderly who have made their contribution to the development of this country, are the ones most impacted by the price of the 100-pound cylinder. And what we see is an exorbitant price in these areas. Now, these are the things that the government will boast about growth in the economy. So when we left government, the country was using in excess of 20 million gallons of fuel a year. Think of the government making in excess of $5 on every gallon of fuel sold. So for this year alone, just on fuel, Team, the government of the St. Lucia Labour Party would have made over $100 million in revenue. And it's the poor people of this country who are paying the prices, not just for the cooking gas, but for the gas. I am seeing some circulation about an additional $5,000 added to the cost of used vehicles. Now, I'm still investigating that, Tim. I cannot verify it. But I know when we came into government in 2006, you remember there was a $12,000 levy on used cars in St. Lucia?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You recall that?
Yes.
And you recall, Tim, that you could not bring a vehicle that was more than 5 years old into St. Lucia?
And this put a lot of dealers out of the business, huh?
Exactly. It took a UWP government who understands that a vehicle in St. Lucia is not necessarily a luxury anymore. Tim, from the time we moved from an agricultural-based economy to a service-based economy, a vehicle is not a luxury. A vehicle is a necessity. Can you imagine the hotel worker leaving work at 11, sometimes 12 in the night, and having to go? Sometimes the bus drops you at a certain point and you have to hike a ride. Given the level of criminal activity in this country today, can you imagine our young women having to be standing by the road these kinds of hours? Whether you work at the call centers, some of them, they work late into the night, and you pass and you see these young ladies having to hike a ride because the transport system does not operate on all routes all night long. All of these things. And the government is moving in a direction. What they did, Tim, was they put in, since the Labour Party came into government, they put in a requirement where you have to pay $100 to a foreign company that issues you a letter under the letterhead of a department in St. Lucia, the one that's responsible for verifying the quality of things, Bureau of Standards. And you pay these fees overseas, to the supplier. They say they inspect the vehicle and everything, but if there's any problem with the vehicle, they don't do anything about it, even if they give you the okay. All of these are additional costs, the 2.5%. And the cost of living. It's a difficult Christmas season for the people of St. Lucia, Tim. And rather where you would think the government would say, okay, we've collected all that money on fuel for all of that time. Let's give the people a reprieve for the season. The government left the price of fuel the same. And Tim, I just received the information on some of the landed cost of fuel, and that's why I know the government is making in excess of $5. So I know for a fact that the government can bring reprieve to the people of St. Lucia in a number of areas, but they have deliberately kept the prices artificially high. And once fuel prices are high in St. Lucia, the cost of living is going to be higher. So that's why I moved away, because, Tim, you see what the government has done with SLASPA and with, you played the report of Stevenson King in 2021. So what has changed between now and then? What about the airport? And Stevenson King is singing a different song. And we call these men honorable and we value them highly. These people, when they speak, they don't believe themselves. Obviously, Stevenson King does not believe himself when he speaks. So if he doesn't believe himself when he speaks, why should I believe him? Or why should the average St. Lucian believe him? Because in 2021, you said all of these glowing things about the airport, about the contractors, about the cost, about the timelines, about the state-of-the-art airport, and number one in the Caribbean, second to none. All of a sudden, the only thing that changed is you switch from flambeau to labor, and what was good became bad. Tim, as St. Lucians, first and foremost, we must hold these men and women accountable for the level of disrespect and disregard they show to our people. I don't know if that's your last program for the year, Tim, is it?
My
Or
last
next
program
week?
is on Thursday of next week. We conclude on Thursday of next week.
Okay, Tim.
Mhm.
But in case I don't get to call your program next week, I want to take this opportunity to wish all St. Lucians all the best for the holiday season. I know it's not going to be a bright Christmas for many people. I've heard many callers to other talk shows talking about how difficult things are and how hard it is, and they don't know. But we have to keep safe and keep healthy, because you know you can get the health care that you require. So, team, I wish all your callers, NewsSpin, all the best. And I get a lot of calls during NewsSpin, team. I wanted to send you a text message to tell your people, please don't call me between 12:30 and 2 o'clock, because I'm unable to answer your call because I'm listening to NewsSpin. All the best to you and your staff team, and you've done a great job with NewsSpin over the years.
Thank you so much for calling, son. All the best to you and your family as well. I get that a lot. People say
Thanks.
that don't call me between 12:30 and 2 o'clock because I am listening to the program. I think one of those individuals is Rick Quinn as well. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. I think maybe the Prime Minister does the same thing too. Don't call him between 12:30 and 2 o'clock. I know for sure people like Riani and Lisa Jawayer, don't call them between that time. Back in just a minute with more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages.
leading medical imaging service located in Cocoville, Rodney Bay. Call La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence today and take the first step towards a healthier tomorrow.
To have a strong structure, you must have a strong foundation. And at Caribbean Pastouche Limited, we offer top quality aggregate materials at great prices. We supply high quality ready mix, casting sand and plastering sand. We also take special requests for specific materials that you may require for your building projects. Caribbean Pastouche Limited is located in Bexon behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open from Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastouche Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
Light up the holiday season. Excel gives you every reason. There's a special loan wrapped up just for you to make your every Christmas dream come true.
Light up your Christmas and lighten your financial burden this season with a holiday loan from Axel Finance. Plus, every loan gets you a chance to win your favorite kitchen appliance and grocery vouchers.
Light up the holiday season. Excel gives you every reason. There's a special loan wrapped up just for you to make your every Christmas dream come true.
Come in today and get your Axel Finance holiday loan.
This is obviously the most monitored talk show in the world, and it's called NewsSpin. And Lucilec wishes to advise customers and the public that its customer service offices in Rodney Bay, Sanssouci, and Vieux-Fort is currently closed to the public. The closure is necessary to facilitate staff participation in a work activity. Normal business will resume at all offices on Monday, December the 9th, 2024 at 8 a.m. Customers who wish to conduct business with the company during this closure are advised to use its various remote options to do so, including the virtual service desk on its website, www.lucilec.com. Responses on the virtual service desk and My Account platforms will, however, be delayed due to staff unavailability. The management of Lucilec regrets any inconvenience that this closure may cause. Still to come, another update from Amanda with regard to comments in the chat room. Let's take a call on the line. Good afternoon, NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Timothy, a pleasant good afternoon to you and your listeners all over the world. PW on the line, Timothy.
Good afternoon.
Timothy, as I listened to Guy Joseph a few minutes ago, Nancy, Charles, and I've been contemplating the amount of projects that have actually stopped by this government. And it's a whole range of projects, Timothy. I mean, we're experiencing growth in this country. We are collecting lots of money from CIP, record number of tourists coming in. When the country is experiencing growth and a record number of tourists are coming in, Timothy, this is the opportunity for the country to make use of the revenue that comes in. But we keep spending, we keep using these monies to abandon projects, to stop projects. Look at the Shock Development Project, Timothy. Another project stopped. Look at the Rodney Bay Development Project. After 3.5 years, going to 4 years, the government haven't decided what they're going to do with that project. We are going into another year with that project abandoned. I wouldn't say stopped. It is abandoned. The South is taking the brunt of the government neglect of the people. You look at this. Look at the horse racing track, a few years ago that was earmarked for this particular area. They took a hit. I mean, when you look at the pioneers of horse racing, like Mr. Trim and his son, that never saw the dream. They died, they never saw the dream of a horse racing track. Look at now the guys that are part of the racing association, and you have government ministers, Kenzin Kazimi, and many of them come to say there are places in January that they had considered, places in cul-de-sac. We are only hearing these things, Timothy, but nothing is happening to make the dreams of solutions come to a reality. A racetrack, a horse racing track, you understand? A museum, a theater, Derek Walker Theater. Derek Walker has gone. We still doesn't have a theater. We still doesn't have a museum. When it comes in terms of a museum, we don't have that. We have a place that is just closed on Chaussee Road. We can't call that a museum. You think tourists can come up the cruise ship and go and say, they want to pay for a tour of the museum? They cannot say that. So these dreams that we foresee, have all been, crushed before our very eyes, right in front of us. Now you have the HIA project, another project of the South that has been shut down by the government, no apparent good reason. All these projects abandoned. This is the time we're experiencing growth. This is the time we are collecting. We have collected millions of dollars in CIP. This is the time we should have invested in all the projects we have dreamed for. We have an aquatic center there, you understand? Not even a swimming aquatic center, the government can have most of the races, Caribbean races that take place. It's in the aquatic center, not even a government center. All of this is left for the private sector. If the private sector doesn't make a move, you understand, the government will not make a move.
Okay, Colin, we'll have to cut your contribution. Thank you so much. In the interest of time, let's see what's happening in the chat room. Amanda.
Tim, a few comments from earlier. Someone says SLASPA has lost all its credibility, first with the GPH acquisition of our ports and now with our international airport in the south. Another comment, the bottom line is that St. Lucia needs a new breed of politicians to be infused into the political process. Too much back and forth and toxicity. We cannot go forward with that, with what we have now. Someone says, RF, come and tell us what you're doing with our monies. You on your show getting high blood pressure on Shas. Another comment, St. Lucia has gone back 20 years under the SLP government. Someone says UWP must learn from all of this. Tell the people the truth, do not lie to the people, and do not conceal state matters from the people. Unfortunately, the last UWP administration was guilty of these missteps. I hope that they are learning to respect the people. Someone replied to this saying, what I don't understand, for all the information the then administration gave out to the public, the people chose to believe the SLP lies and deceits. And today they are paying for it heavy. And Tim, I don't know what's that about a cherry rasta and a wallet tycoon in the chat, but It seems to be entertaining the new spinners.
All right. Thank you so much. We have a WhatsApp message. It reads, I'm a past client of TP, which is the Turning Point, and who has been sober for more than a decade. We are sober today because of the services that Turning Point offers after we are discharged. When I heard from Mr. Isidore yesterday, I was wondering where he got his information from. The phasing out of Turning Point started a long time. At one point, clients were only allowed to be at the place from 8 a.m. to noon. Some clients have died because of such operations. Some people tried to remove the God aspects of the program by transferring the two facilities to the substance or facilitators to the substance abuse department. Turning Point started in 1988, and there is a minister in government presently who was instrumental in forming this institution but remains silent on the matter. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message to go through. Somebody says there, could it be that we are being played as pawns in this game of political chess? Could it be that the latest decision by SLASPA is only to facilitate the bigger move to hand all controls to Chinese contractors or financiers? Broad the view and you will see connections with CIP passport sales, SLASPA, and it's not forgotten. Grindberg. Let me turn my attention now to our question of the day. The NewsSpin question of the day reads, why did SLASPA really fire OECC from the HIA redevelopment project? Why did SLASPA really fire OECC from the HIA redevelopment project? And finally, the NewsSpin news of the day. The NewsSpin news of the day reads, Paraguay kicks out a visiting Chinese envoy for urging its lawmakers to turn their backs on Taiwan. Paraguay kicks out a visiting Chinese envoy for urging its lawmakers to turn their backs on Taiwan. That's the broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show, and that is NewsSpin. We will be back, God willing, on Monday afternoon, 12:30. Goodbye.